My goal here is simple. Avoid relegation with Luton Town from the Premier League using the new game mode, Your World. Meaning I'm basically working with their championship team and buying players to stay in the league. With just £24 million to spend this summer window to do it. I'm looking at this team and yeah, it is going to be a quite a challenge. Like, these are their best players. They're not really Premier League quality in regards to staying up. There's a lot of like hard workers, and that's what I think I need to base this on. Maybe trying to find a tactic where hard work and pace, etc. is going to carry me through. There's also a lot of injuries. Like these guys here, 4 to 5 months, 5 to 6 months. I think that one's 5 to 6 months as well. Like, so there's going to be things that I'm going to have to replace. And tactic-wise, I'm still unsure yet. I think I might have to go down possibly the 3 at the back and contain it with 2 DMs and just have like 2 or 3 players just left up there to try and do the business. I haven't really thought that too far yet. I quickly thrown together a shape with some basic instructions, but we desperately need some reinforcements. And the target of the current season of staying in the Premier League looks very daunting. So I better get improving this team, starting with a goal scorer, and I know just the man, Wesley Said, who thankfully is interested and won't cost a lot, which is exactly what we need. And a bid is accepted of £2 million. He's a striker with good pace and very decent attributes for that advanced forward role. Or as we call it at Luton Town, the graveyard shift. According to my best 11 pick, it's 2 of my starting centre-backs that are injured for half the season. And because of the Your World game mode, a certain Johnny Evans is a free agent. My scouts already rate him very highly, so let's try and bring him in. I've also put in an offer for Asmir Begovic. Some experience in goal will definitely help. But of course, there is going to be some competition for their signatures. My intermediaries coming out with 2 good suggestions, however, if I can't get my targets. One target who has decided to join, though, is Wesley Said, who gets a work permit approved upon his move from Lens. My scouts recommended Yannick Muller, a centre-back option from Germany who has a very low value, and thankfully that's roughly going to be his cost too. Could be another bargain pickup that we really need. I found Relvas because of club's transfer rumours, and I might try and make a cheeky bid myself, as it is exactly what I'm looking for. He fits the bill perfectly, and a bid of £6 million accepted. An offer came in to loan Adebayo, which I'd rather have the money up front, so if he's going to go, I rejected it. And sure enough, that bid came in for the exact price which I am willing to accept. With one going out, I confirmed a new signing, my bargain price midfielder, for just 28k, Zdeněs. Compared to my squad, my scouts rate him very highly at 4 stars. However, Johnny Evans rejected me for Everton, as did Krajcik for AC Milan. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve though, and Muller also signs for the club. But Begovic decided Luton would be his new home and signed. The experience alone is great, and he is still a quality keeper and counts as homegrown as well. And Adebayo leaves, which gives us another £12 million to our budget, which at this stage is huge, giving us £32 million. And I started to sign more and more players to bolster our squad to give us the best opportunity to stay in this division. But I need a talisman, creative midfielder, and Facundo Torres is a cam that I would be loving to bring in. He would be fantastic, but would take a big chunk of our budget. The Vultures at Palace also put in a bid, but Orlando want more, and I'm willing to go higher. But of course, he would rather go to Crystal Bloody Palace. So my replacement is Nikolai Stanku, who hopefully I can bring in for an even cheaper cost, and he's a very decent player too, could be a star for us. But the first game of the season is here and we are nowhere near ready. And with my eventual 11 picked, it's time to face Newcastle United. And things could not have started off any worse when Tonali's run down the right eventually led to Newcastle taking the lead through Isaac. Only for Newcastle to double the lead soon after from a set piece. We were already 2-0 down. But then a miracle happened. A long ball nodded down by Carlton Morris was fired in by Freeman to make it 2-1. And in the second half, a short corner and a cross led to a second goal. And then the momentum kept going our way, and Alan Campbell smashed in a worldie, and we were about to pull off an incredible comeback. Well, that was until Newcastle decided to ruin our day. Oh, Carrasco. Oh, you... Of course they do. Do you know what? In the grand scheme of things, the 3-0 draw, it could have been a lot worse, couldn't it? I mean, we were missing a few players anyway. Said was injured, so we couldn't actually give him a debut. They had pretty much their strongest side. And we managed to pull it back from 2-0 to go 3-2 up. yeah, it could have been a lot worse. But our best centre-back Relvas getting injured didn't help either, mind. But maybe the secret sauce we needed was about to sign in Nicholas Stanku, who instantly improves our attacking threat. And we still had £13 million to spend. So I went on the hunt for a DM with all the attributes to be solid in there, and straight away I knew I wanted Lucas Tousart. He's been a favourite of mine on the game for years since he was a Wonder Kid, and I'm quite surprised he'd be willing to come, but I am going to make it happen for sure. But of course, Burnley now also want to sign him too. My players are complaining about the lack of squad depth, even though we have 35 team members. Their complaints were mainly about defensive midfield, which is Tousart of course coming in, but also I'm going to try and bring in Tom Davies on a free transfer too. Couldn't bring in anyone before our valiant effort against Chelsea, which ended in defeat on Monday Night Football, however. And still no new faces before our next fixture against Everton at home. However, that was another game which didn't end too well for Luton Town. Keepers! What's he doing? Okay, I thought that might have been our first one of the season. Maybe not. Maybe not. We couldn't even beat Salford in the EFL Cup. The good news is, though, that we have signed both Tom Davies and Lucas Tousart, which means our midfield should look a lot better now. Money-wise, I only have £3.5 million left, and I have a player in mind. I think we need to strengthen a little bit more up front. The rest of the team seems to be okay. I'm going to go for Berta Gildurim. I think he's really good. I'd like to think he would come to us if we could get a work permit. Yes. For less than the transfer budget that we've got, £3 million. I think we can probably nail that down if we give him some in after league appearances. Maybe we could give him a couple of million there, and possibly we should be absolutely golden. Yes. Okay, that would be a good signing, I think. But his work permit was rejected. And then even after appeal was rejected again. And I was given an option I've never seen before, but it seemed to allow me to sign him, so I just said yes. And he was our last signing of the transfer window. And now our team looks very different to the team we took over ahead of the next match. Still though, we lost to Brighton 4-2. Positive signs were that Stanku and Bertug seemed to link up beautifully for this wonderful goal. Not so positive is how we continue to concede goals very early into the match. 2-0 down at home within 10 minutes. And this was in a 4-0 loss at home to Wolves. We visited Selhurst Park after that and fell behind to a goal off the back of a free kick. But Wesley Said in the second half gave us a glimmer of hope of our first win when he scored on the hour mark. However, Palace had other ideas, and they put themselves back into the lead 6 minutes later. Not giving up though, we set Wesley Said free again, and he squeezed in another goal, and we snatched a valuable point. Took another loss to Arsenal, 3-0, but even still, we ain't bottom of the league. That's Burnley, who haven't even got a point yet. And we've got them next month, just after the Manchester United game. I altered the tactics slightly as we are way too defensive and we need a bit of width which Zdeněk can give us, and Muller can jump into CDM when the Volante moves forward in that wide centre-back role. And straight away within 3 minutes of the West Ham match, the width paid off and Stanku scored the opening goal. It's a shame it never stayed that way, however, as we still look for our first win. Could that first win come against Manchester United? Well, that 85th minute Luke Freeman goal gave us our first 3 points. Then, of course, we faced Burnley, who have yet to win a game all season. I don't get how we can beat Manchester United and then lose to bottom of the league Burnley, who I believe have yet to win anything. That's their first win, and they've also got a draw against Wolves. So, I mean, we're not bottom still, and we're in one win of outside the relegation zone. But that is just typical, isn't it? The next month seen a massive draw against Tottenham and another against Forest, which included 3 penalties where 2 were missed, which still kept us in the drop zone going forward for the busy festive period. But Bournemouth came to Luton. We put on our best performance of the season so far, especially in defence, held them to a clean sheet and scored 2 goals of our own to record our second win. We lost 3 days later though to Erling Haaland FC. But then we went to Bramall Lane and took the lead. Go on, get another. Relvas! Come on, that's 2. Another win led to another 3-0 loss, this time to Aston Villa. But then a trip to Anfield where we felt hard done by conceding from a free kick. So we got ourselves a penalty and stole a point. Couldn't really jump on any form though, losing 2 more games. But still, for now, we are out of that relegation zone. The January window opens though, and we have £14 million to reinforce the side. Nice. So I thought I would check the transfer list, and after wondering how we could potentially get Jadon Sancho, I saw Issa Diop, who would definitely improve our defence for just £8 million. But of course, Fulham want a little bit more because they are also in the relegation zone. Genuinely curious about Jadon Sancho though, maybe to loan him, but that's daylight robbery for a monthly fee. I ain't doing that. We could have done with either of those players in the next match, as we were woeful against Arsenal, looked like we gave up and had no energy or fight, losing 2-0. Again, we can't even beat League 2 opposition Stockport in the FA Cup. But finally, Issa Diop has joined the club, and just in time for the match against Burnley at home, maybe another 3 points. And he comes right into the heart of our defence. And that definitely gave us the boost we needed from the off, as Toussaint pressed well, sending Said through and scored the opening goal within 5 minutes. But of course, we also don't have the luck. Burnley equalised from a poor shot getting a deflection. But my 28k man was the difference today. Go back to him. Go on. Zendenias. 28k. But that's created a gap between us and 18th place Forest for 5 points for now. We have very little money left, and call me crazy, but we need a Premier League winner in our team. And I know someone who knows how to party when we survive, Jamie Vardy. What I hadn't considered was he had very unreasonable wage demands, and therefore we struggled to negotiate despite giving him everything we possibly could. And eventually the talks completely shut down. That's a shame. The hero of the Burnley win then got injured for 4 weeks right before Manchester United away. So we made a move for Ryan Christie, who's on the transfer list for just 2 million. He obviously didn't sign in time, and Manchester United, who had just signed Victor Osman, won 3-0. We got the deal done before deadline day closed though. But February was a painful month for Luton Town, with 4 losses in total. However, a shining light in that month was this match against Liverpool, where we found ourselves 1-0 down but equalised through Wesley Said in the 80th minute. And it got better from there, as the knockdown from Van Dijk was poor and Said was unleashed again to smash home the winner in the 95th minute. The match after was a 9-goal thriller, from which we unfortunately lost to Chelsea from their own very late goal.
I say it was a painful month. It depends how you look at it really, because the opposition that we had were very difficult. Brentford, alright, you could argue that we should be winning or getting at least a point at home against them. We didn't even score a goal, unfortunately. That was difficult. But then to beat Liverpool, that's huge. That's absolutely massive, especially in the manner that we did, going 1-0 down. This game against Chelsea, I mean, scoring 4 goals, you think, lovely stuff. You still lose 92nd minute. That's just really annoying, isn't it? Newcastle, at Newcastle, alright. And out of the FA Cup in extra time, which isn't that bad. League form-wise, it's okay. We've got a couple of games coming up which are going to be really tricky. Man City being one, but there's a Sheffield United game there we should be winning. Forest and Fulham and Bournemouth in the month after. We might be alright. Competition-wise, in the Premier League, we're still 17th. Now 7 points clear of Forest. We could actually do this.
Oh, I was so naive. March was way worse. A lot worse than February, that's for sure. 3-0 loss to Aston Villa. 3-1 home loss to Sheffield United, who are below us in the league. We did, however, only lose 1-0 to Manchester City, and we actually played really well at the Etihad. We just couldn't score. But then once again, we were smashed at home to Tottenham. The gap in the relegation zone is now just 3 points from us. And we've got Forest up next, followed by Fulham. Not many more important games than this one. It's a 6-pointer. Once again, the 28k man Sean, and his shot eventually fell for Stanku to bang in the opening goal, and we were off. Well, at least I thought we were, because then a 1-0 was put through and he equalised before half-time. And it stayed 1-1 and the points were shared. Possibly another 2 points were dropped against Fulham in the next game, a game that we dominated. We travelled to the Vitality, and an injured Lucas Toussaint was poaching in the box and gave us the lead. But once again, we are our own worst enemies, and instead of pushing for a second, we sat back and conceded 5 minutes later. And with just 10 minutes left to go, Bournemouth got a penalty. Of course they scored it. From Bournemouth to Brighton, on the half-hour mark, we find ourselves in familiar territory, losing. But Stanku popped in a penalty. And then we broke down the right-hand side with Alfie Doherty. Go on. No way. What a goal. However, there was still time for one more goal.
Christie?
Christie? What a huge win that is, by the way. 3-1 against Brighton. We actually played well as well. We had some decent performances, especially down that right-hand side. Really chuffed with that. And that gives us some kind of security blanket, because with 3 games to go now, we are 6 points clear. We just need a couple of more points. Burnley, already gone. 13 points. That's embarrassing.
We've got 6 wins this season. 2 of them are against Liverpool and Manchester United. We deserve to stay up. We've done a hell of a job here. We even picked up a draw against Everton in our next game, but then we lost to Crystal Palace. While unfortunately, Nottingham Forest went and battered Fulham 4-1. I can't believe they managed to pull that one out of the bag. Like, I know we've lost like 2 games or whatever it is since, but winning 4-1. Now, they're only a point behind us. It literally goes down to the last game of the season, which we play Wolves away from home, who are 12th. They play Bournemouth at home, who are 13th. I'd say they probably have the better advantage. But the final day was upon us, and we are without our key man, our 28k star winger, Zdeněs. So Christie comes into the team, and we prepare ourselves to avoid the drop one last time. Our Romanian attacking midfielder Stancu stepped up and opened the scoring with a belter of a goal, putting us 1-0 up after just 2 minutes. And within 19 minutes, we doubled our lead from Ashley Young on the left-hand side. With the Forest game still 0-0, Wolves were the ones to begin to worry us when they scored right after the break. And soon enough, they were on the attack again, bringing it back to 2-2 in just a flash. Forest had a tight game on their hands, and after finding themselves a goal down, they pulled it back to 1-1. Only to concede a penalty and go 2-1 down. But once again came back and levelled the scoring, then going one better and putting themselves in the lead. And putting us in the relegation zone. Bournemouth, the Bloody Legends, did us a huge favour though and pulled it back to 3-3, and with just our game still in the balance at 2-2, they went and scored in the 91st minute. But what's even better than that is that we scored in the 98th minute through Alex Vidal, who was free down the right hand side and smashed in the winner at Molineux to keep Luton Town up. Now, because of Bournemouth's equaliser and then eventual winner, we didn't exactly need our own winner, but it is just perfect to put the cherry on top of the cake to get our own and celebrate this day as we managed to keep Luton Town up using Your World mode on Football Manager. I hope you enjoyed it. Give the challenge a go yourself, and of course smash the like button and smash that subscribe button, because we are so close now to 100k and I really want to get that plaque up on the wall. Cheers.